I really don't know what to call this one, but I think it's time I got some stuff off my chest about the theme park community in response to just some events that have occurred on this channel recently. And I've been thinking about making this video for a while, but I think now's the time to make it. I'm going to sort of talk about, I don't know, how I've been feeling recently about this community and why I consider myself not to be a part of it, if you would refer to it as a community, as you will. Hello and welcome back to ThrillNet, bringing you everything thrill related in the UK and beyond via the internet. And first of all, before we get into things, I just want to say that I respect everyone's opinion, and if you disagree with anything or everything I'm about to say, then fair enough, it's your opinion and you're entitled to that. Also, I just thought I'd mention for regular viewers, I know this isn't usually where I record nowadays, but the place where I usually record has got a load of boxes everywhere and I just can't do it at the moment. But in a couple of videos time, we should all be good to go back in the old place. So, just over a year ago now, I made a video titled My Honest Thoughts on the Theme Park Community, in which I discussed some issues in relation to it, such as bullying, people not respecting others' opinions, etc, etc. Basically, you know, if you're part of this so-called community, problems, drama you've seen online, I discussed all of that. But I also discussed some good aspects of the community in relation to the people I've met. And at that time, I stated I'd been like part of the community for about 9 months, which I'd say was true because I kind of classed myself as part of that. But back then, because I hadn't been part of it that long, I was quite naive in terms of the severity of just the issues with this so-called community, which I don't think is a community whatsoever, and I'm going to get into that. What I consider to be what people say is the theme park community is basically just a group of people with a shared interest, and it's a bit like a school, to be honest. We're all here for one purpose, to enjoy the theme parks. School, you're all there to get an education. And in the theme park community, just like school, you've got your popular people and your unpopular people. You know, everyone mingles and that. People can become friends with each other, come and go, people fall out. That's the theme park community. And like school, there's so much drama. There is some good stuff that goes on, but there's so much drama and just, it's an absolute mess. So recently I published a video that a lot of you have probably seen on my opinions of whether Nemesis is going to be removed from Alton Towers in the near future, and that video got 1,200 views. It did amazing. Thank you for all your support first of all on that, and because of that I made a follow-up as well. And with both those videos I received a lot of comments from people sharing their opinions, which is fine, all well and good. Everyone disagreed with me, but then there were some people spamming the comments, people just not being very respectful, calling the video garbage and stuff like that. And honestly, it got quite overwhelming to me, partly because it did so well, but just the sheer number of comments I wasn't used to. And I could tell because, you know, notifications up and I was reading the start of some of the comments, like, you know, some of them weren't the nicest of comments, to be honest. The majority of them were fine, which I'm surprised about with this community. But yeah, and it just got quite overwhelming. And, you know, lately I've been, you know, posting my opinions of certain things on my story and stuff. And it's safe to say that I'm honest with my opinions. If I don't like something, I will say that. And, you know, people will obviously reply to my story and say stuff. And honestly, it got to a point where I wasn't opening any comments or replying because it just got overwhelming. And I know for a fact that some people wouldn't have been saying the best things. And it's just, you know, highlights the problem with this community. And there's been some other more significant issues that I'm going to get into now in relation to it and social media. Those comments I was on about highlight a massive problem of the community of people not respecting others' opinions. And I've fallen victim to some of this gossip on Twitter because, particularly when theme park enthusiasts see videos they don't like, they love to go and moan about it on Twitter, and Twitter is just the worst social media platform ever. It's full of theme park enthusiasts, moaning about nonsense, getting into drama for no reason, although surprisingly it's been almost 2 months since someone got like cancelled in drama that's just, oh, it's absolute rubbish, I tell you. And like, yeah, it's just a mess, Twitter. And then there's Instagram as well, which is a bit better, but there's still issues on there as well, as I have encountered. Back last summer, I had problems with a couple of enthusiasts for different reasons who I don't speak to anymore. And, you know, some of them, well, one in particular was, you know, it was for pretty bad reasons, and it made me think, okay, you know, I met these people through the so-called community, this one person in particular, you know, it opened my eyes, you know, reminded me of the fact that not every enthusiast in this so-called community is, you know, are the nicest of people. And then it got to October, and I uploaded my Oktoberfest rant, and fair enough, I hadn't been to the event, so I couldn't realistically judge it. And it was done as a joke, to be honest, but from what I'd seen, I wasn't a massive fan of it. And two enthusiasts in particular basically tried to cancel me for this, and started going on about it on Twitter. And one of them in particular posted a link to the video, and, you know, I got a load of backlash from some popular names. I'm not going to name and shame people or anyone in this video at all in that respect, but yeah, it was pretty overwhelming, and the video has a crazy amount of dislikes, which thanks, because, you know, dislikes are engagement, they push the videos out. But honestly, the backlash was it was a stupid overreaction, it honestly was. But fair enough, I did do an apology video for it because I felt the need to do that, because I was very self-conscious at the time. In actual fact, I was just stating an opinion, and there was no need for me to make that video whatsoever. But I was very self-conscious at the time that everyone basically hated me. And so I made that, and fair enough, one of them, the enthusiast, did write me a really lengthy apology message. And to that person, if you are watching, which you're probably not, thank you, I do respect you. Now, at a similar time to which I uploaded my Oktoberfest rant, a YouTuber who many of you have heard of, known as Coaster Dan, uploaded a rant about the Alton Towers pre-booking system and the way that Alton Towers have treated their pass holders and how Merlin have treated them in general. But now if we fast forward to sort of February, March time, Coaster Dan did a collab with Sean Evans from Lift Hills and Thrills and a number of other enthusiasts, and he was opening up about his Alton Towers rant and how he thought, you know, this isn't right, let's be honest about it, because, you know, I want to be myself and stuff like that. And that's why he changed from Theme Park Family to Coaster Dan. He opened up about all that, and that Theme Park Family just wasn't him, and he wanted to be, you know, this more adult friendly channel, let's say. And that's why he changed it from Theme Park Family to Coaster Dan, because he didn't want to be a family channel. And Sean Evans from Lift Hills and Thrills essentially said, you know, if you've got an opinion, no matter what it is, don't be afraid to say it. And honestly, I look up to him for saying that, because, you know, it's true. And that's what's inspired me, because, you know, I've done rant videos and stuff recently, and you'll have noticed that I've been more, let's say, brutally honest about some of my opinions. And, you know, he really did inspire that, and like, I do look up to that. I don't want to be fake in videos, and I really hope that my videos have come across less and less fake over time for that reason. But obviously, when you're dealing with this stupid community, you're going to run into some issues if you're honest in videos. And there was one video in particular, I'm not sure if it was me that someone was referring to, but let's just say there's one video where someone wasn't a fan of my opinion of Chessington, because I haven't visited in so long, and decided to post about it on Twitter that, you know, they were a bit angry about my opinions, and they were raging at them through the screen. Honestly, it's absolutely pathetic. I might not have visited Chessington for 6 years, or whatever. Yeah, 6 years now. Since, like, between when I visited and made my video, well, almost 6 years. But, doesn't matter, it's an opinion that I'm still entitled to. So on that note, let me just open up about myself for a second. I'm visually impaired, meaning I make use of accessibility systems at parks like the Ride Access Pass, etc, etc. And that's going to influence my opinions of things, because I take disability access at parks into account. This is something really important you should know when I'm talking about things in videos. I do take that into account. And if I haven't had a good experience with the staff and how they've dealt with my disability at parks, it's going to affect my opinion. And Chessington is one to mention for that, because I've had a bad experience at Chessington with my disability. The disability access at that park is pretty shocking. The staff are quite rude when it comes to disabilities, and although that was back in 2015, 6 years later, I've been told by a friend who's also disabled that nothing's changed and it's not good enough. So I know for a fact that when I'm talking about Chessington, it's not as bad a park for the majority of you as I make out. But I've had this experience, yeah, and that's obviously going to negatively impact my opinion of the park. So yeah, I hate Chessington, but please, if you like Chessington, and you know you're entitled to like Chessington, but before you start having a go at me on Twitter, then please take that into account, or any social media platform, before you're going to rage about my opinion anywhere, or anyone's for that matter. You need to take stuff like this into account. Just because you see something one way doesn't mean someone else is going to see it that same way from their perspective, because everyone has had different experiences in life. This person who spoke about this on Twitter wasn't taking that stuff like that into account, because there's no excuse whatsoever to go on Twitter and put a tweet on there going, oh, I'm raging about someone's opinions and I don't agree with this, and then deciding to basically impersonate me in the video and try and quote parts of it and then twist it around a bit and whatsoever. And just anyone and just, there's no excuse to do stuff like that to anyone, and it happens all the time in this theme park community. And you know, I'm sick of it being so dismissive, people dismissing others. And yeah, and that brings us up to date to, you know, the Nemesis video. Many people are being respected, which I really appreciate. Hats off to the so-called theme park community for being quite respectful, enthusiasts commenting on my videos. You know, we had a good discussion, and I put some of the best comments, you know, in that second video that you will have seen, many of you, I'm sure. But, you know, I do say some controversial opinions in my videos, because stuff like Oktoberfest, Chessington, I have quite controversial opinions towards those things for different reasons. Fair enough, I haven't visited Oktoberfest yet, but even so, my opinion is valid, because I'm speaking my opinion from the perspective of someone who hasn't visited the event, which I clearly stated in my Oktoberfest rant. Therefore, I might not have visited the event, and I might not be able to give the most realistic judgment about it, but at the end of the day, it's still my opinion based off what I've seen. What should be noted is that although I have some controversial opinions about things, I respect others' opinions. And I always state that in my videos. I did it in my Oktoberfest rant video, I did it in my One Take of Thrills video, which is the one that someone wasn't very happy about my opinion of Chessington that I stated in. But what I don't do is I don't go on Twitter moaning about other people's opinions, or Instagram for that matter. And, you know, with this Nemesis video, and things have just got quite overwhelming lately, I thought now's a good time to make this video, because, you know, it's not just that video. A lot of my videos have been getting comments recently, and I seem to have been getting more and more just comments that shouldn't be on the platform, that just aren't respected of it all, which probably is just because of the fact I've been getting more comments. But it's just something I've noticed more recently. I'm just getting more and more negative interactions with people in the community, or so-called community. I'm seeing more and more negative things as time goes on, and it's just causing me to form in my head more and more negative relationships with people in this community. And I'm afraid to say of it that some of it's big names. I've stopped watching entire YouTube channels because of my own experiences and just seeing stuff on Twitter, and it's just not doing me any good mentally. And, you know, one channel in particular that I've literally stopped watching because of people it's not even the main host of that channel. The main host of that channel is a legend who's actually inspired the majority of like ways I present some of my more comical content in videos. But it's people who surround that channel who I've had bad interactions with has made it to a point where I just don't want to watch that channel anymore, because I don't want to be constantly reminded of things that have happened in my past, because it just puts an unnecessarily bad mental strain on me, and I can't enjoy the content, which is a shame, because I used to love this channel, but I can't enjoy it anymore. And it's not just this channel that I've had to stop watching. This was probably my favourite of the channels I've had to, but it's not just this channel I've had to stop watching because of all of this negativity. In which, no, I'm cutting more ties than ever with this so-called community. I don't want to be associated with it. But if you enjoy my content, you feel free to comment, feel free to message me. I'm not in this for a so-called community, a school, of people of different statuses. I'm in this to build my own fan base. You've got people out there who are like, oh, save the community, make it a positive place. But no, this is the point. It's not a community, and all this drama, there's no fix to it. Because too many people are interacting with too many other people. I don't want to sound like a school teacher here, controlling a load of pupils, but it's nice, yeah, it's lovely to do collaborations and stuff and be nice to others. It really is, but honestly, I think the easiest thing to prevent all this drama is just for people to find a friendship group and stick to it, and not go poking the nose in anyone else's business. Honestly, nothing's going to change from this video, but if you want to stay out of drama in this community, then I suggest the easiest way is to just find a friendship group and stick to it. But yeah, I'm probably going to be turning notifications off for a lot of stuff on Twitter, then I just don't get filled with any more negativity. There's some positive stuff on there, but I've got to a point where I want to do that. I'm probably going to, do similar for Instagram, although Instagram is far less negative. If there is any community, then it's on Instagram. And, I've met some amazing people through doing what I do. But that's through my channel. That's not going poking my nose, online pestering people on Twitter and whatever. That's people who enjoy my content. And that's how I build my fan base, and I think that's the best way to do it. Just make your own content. If you're a content creator. If you're not, then, maybe message one or two people, get a small group of friends through this. But, just don't try and interact with masses of people, because I know from experience, the bigger a friendship group, the bigger the chance of drama. Stick to 4 or 5 people, and there you go, happy days. You don't need this blooming community, and yeah, that's the way it is. I met, Josh, Danielle, Ed, Ellis, Emily. I met all of them through doing what I do with content. As I said, not pestering people, just doing what I do. And on Sunday, I'm going to be going to Alton Towers with Josh, Danielle, Ed, Ellis, and guess what? There's going to be a couple of surprise guests as well. And you could say that I've met these are, well, one of them in particular I know watches my videos, but you could say that we found out about these people through the so-called community. But the point is, to still interact with a few people, but just don't go here, there, and everywhere, and just don't go posting, well, what I said, rubbish on Twitter, because there's just no need for it and stuff like that. But honestly, I just wanted to do this video to clarify that I'm not part of any community. I'm just a content creator who wants people to enjoy my content. And, people will say to me, or even my friends have said, you must not care about what people think doing some of the opinions you do. But it's not that, it's the fact that, as I said, if I have an opinion, I'm not going to be scared to say that, because you shouldn't be. Anyways, click the icon at the bottom of your screen to subscribe. Click the video on the right side of your screen to go and watch my latest vlog from Alton Towers. I'm Ben, thank you so much for watching ThrillNet, and I'll see you in another video.